What's up, everyone, and welcome to the first Shorties episode in I don't know, 6.5 fucking years or something.
It only
Brett?
took us 4 months. I don't think that's too bad.
4 months? All right, that's good. That's just that's a hiatus.
It is the end of the 4th month.
We almost broke up. It almost happened.
A lot of artistic differences, a lot of
lots of infighting.
Yeah.
Lots of deception.
We like to have a healthy dose of that kind of stuff anyway.
A lot of backstabbing the last 4 months between the two of us, but...
Yeah, but can I have that knife back, by the way? It was kind of expensive, and I really wanted it.
No, I'm keeping that shit because you're just going to fucking stab me with it again.
You're right.
And I can say one thing that doesn't feel like getting stabbed with a knife, and it's listening to the album that we listened to today that we're about to talk about by a little band called Psychedelic Porn Crumpets, and their new album that came out, I think, pretty recently called Night Gnomes.
Feeling like you're getting stabbed might be a good or a bad thing, just depending on who you are, but this album is good stuff, man. I was really enjoying this thing. I think I haven't gotten into as much Psychedelic Porn Crumpets as I'd like to, but from what I've heard, it sounds like more of the same rockin' stuff. Every now and then they throw in a little kicker. But just like the great, fuzzy, snarky band with a good couple of chill tracks. Like, it's not all balls to the wall the whole time.
Yeah, not the whole time, but I will say the balls to the wall shit was the stuff I liked the most.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into it soon. But do you know Psychedelic Porn Crumpets at all?
Yeah, for sure. I've heard a decent amount of stuff by them. I don't remember really liking a lot of what I've heard, so I did go into this a little trepidatiously.
A little wary.
Some might say a little wary, but man, I was very pleasantly surprised. It's super rockin', super jangly. We talked about how much we liked the production a lot on this record, that it feels very open, but it's not like there's too much going on or something. Like, none of it's too in your face, even though it's a pretty fucking loud record for the most part, man. Even the soft songs are pretty loud.
Yeah, and it's like the thing I love about Psychedelic Porn Crumpets is that they always keep it groovy. They always kind of have a shuffle feel to everything.
Such a groove on every song on this record,
They have
dude.
so many riffs. Just such good riffs.
Yeah, but it's not riff salad, right? It's like they keep the psychedelicness there, where they just have these riffs that it's basically Uncle Acid plays essentially very similar riffs, but 3 times slower.
Right, yeah.
So these guys they're playing a lot of really bluesy riffs that are kind of repetitive and a little drony.
Yeah.
But there's this just energy throughout the whole record. The drums just have this consistent energy going the whole time, even on the softer songs, which is only maybe 2 on this record. I love the energy on this album, dude.
The drums are always pumping whenever they can, and
they're good. Danny Caddy's a fucking sick drummer, but he is not too good to just fucking 4 on the floor, let that shit ride,
right? And it's like, this sounds like such a fun band to be in for all instruments. It's so easy to just get into a jam, mid-song, an improv jam. The drums are always active. The bass, oh my god. Let's talk about that for a second.
So their bassist is called Wayan Bilandana.
That's not a real name.
That's his name, Wayan Bilandana. They're Australian. You gotta remember, Brett. They have weird names.
They got the weirdo names over there.
They got the weird names. He was the first thing that I noticed, right off the bat, on Lava Lamp Disco. When that song starts,
yep,
I prayed to God that every song would be this bassy and the deep bass, the really deep, really nice, even it's fuzzy at times bass, and oh man,
and
they kept it pretty consistent on the whole record, and when they were doing those riffs and it was getting loud and really punchy, that bass just came right through it like fucking cleared the way.
Like butter. I love it's so
so
refreshing how high in the mix the bass is, and that might just be because the guitars are usually pretty up high doing some snotty stuff, and it gives the bass more room to breathe.
Yeah, but on this one he is very prominent in the mix, and like again, which is more kudos to the production, because everything is, you can hear everything that's going on. Everything's really clear but fuzzy at the same time. Like the singer Jack McEwen, his voice is so haunting and again like hypnotic, and he has this constant, almost like we were saying earlier too while we were listening to it together, this Tame Impala type production on his voice.
Yeah, usually filtered on his voice. You can't tell
if it's a synth or not sometimes.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
And I think
I vaped so much fucking ice cream cake while we were listening to this record. I'm like so fucking high right now.
Kind of almost getting to a psychedelic region. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, yeah, because I'm listening to it right now while we're talking about it, and I'm probably yelling because I'm really high, and I'm wearing headphones. But the album, the bass and the guitars are just so good on the whole record.
Right. And I totally agree that like the production is very clear. It's a little bit airy. It's just airy enough while still filling the space. But there are definitely moments that you can go back to probably 4 or 5 times, and each time you hear something new.
I was writing while we were listening to the album. I was taking notes, and at one point I said that there weren't really any super memorable riffs or melodies. I'm like, I like all of the riffs, but nothing's really, I haven't walked away from any song going like, you know? But then also, like, we did only listen to it once. So hearing it again now, I just listened to Lava Lamp Disc Pisco again. It's like, it's a super memorable riff, super fucking catchy, and this album has a lot of replayability to it, because one thing that it has going for it a lot too is it's like just under 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really easy record to put on and listen to all of it in one run.
For sure. Yeah.
It's going to lend itself very well to re-listens.
And maybe even maybe the constant and varying riffage might be to their detriment a little bit, in that it is a little harder to like cling on to something and like have something to remember after you listen to the album.
It might all blend in a little bit together, but it's kind of, you know, in a sense, reminds me of Royal Thunder.
Royal Blood?
Was it the Royal Blood?
Yeah, okay.
Kind of reminds me of Royal Blood, where it's just, oh god, riff fucking salad, dude. Just like, it was insane. And they're all so good, but you don't walk away remembering any of them because it's too memorable. They're all too good. And the next song just introduces a just as good riff, so nothing stands out. It's just all consistently gold.
Well, before we get into nugs, are there like
delish?
What negative do we have to say about the album?
You know, I don't have really any negative to say about it, other than it's kind of just like with King Gizzard, and you know, I could say the same about Tame Impala as well, which apparently are both influences on this band, which I can hear. But I don't like the softer stuff, and especially don't like the goofier stuff. And there's a little bit of goof on here.
I mean, there might be a little bit of goofiness, but it comes with the territory, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't know, a couple of fucking goof troops in this band.
I think maybe what you're mistaking for goofy is just like being Australian.
It might be. I think a lot of it has to do with the era of folk music that these bands are trying to recreate sometimes, which is that 60s and 50s folk that was super fucking goofy and was talking about fairies and leprechauns and gnomes and stuff. Like, this album's called Night Gnomes. You know, it's basically like I said, King Gizzard, or it's basically like Uncle Acid mixed with a fucking, you know, 50s folk band. But so, you know, that's the only, I guess, negative, if you want to put it that way, I have to say about a couple of these songs. Like I don't know, like Microwave Dave, you know, or like Dream In Out, or In Dream Out, those types of songs where it's just kind of those are, I'd be okay with never listening to those again. But
I
pretty
think-
much every other song I loved.
I think I was expecting a little more from Night Gnomes, just from it being
Yeah.
the album title. But I think
Yeah.
I get why they put it there, because it's a soft beginning and then a classic, like, Porn Crumpets explosion out of nowhere.
Yeah, it kind of leans on the goofy side of Psych, right? A little bit. But it has good energy, and the production's so good that I still enjoyed all of it. And then that really cool Middle Eastern kind of riff they do in the bridge.
They love that stuff. They're always doing the little
I gotta say that comes from a King Gizzard influence.
I mean, what doesn't these days,
Yeah, but then you gotta think about all their influences and shit, and it's just a bunch of, Middle Eastern and East African jazz.
Well, let's get into nugs, man.
Let's do it, dude. Choice nugs.
My first nug is going to be Sherbet Straws.
Yeah, man, it's a great fucking song. It's like playing right now in my headphones.
Yeah, I thought it was, after a while, I got a kind of Tame Impala, like, oh, this is kind of like a rockin' Tame Impala song.
Absolutely.
The riffs are real nice on here. The drums are, like, surprisingly fun for how low-key the rest of the music is at points.
Yeah, really cool drums.
Yeah.
And a weird time signature that is not weird enough that you can't bob your head to it, but it's still this kind of like, I'm not 100% sure what they're playing.
I think it's probably like 3 time or something, 3/4 or something like that.
Well, if it's 3/4 and I can't figure it out, then I have consumed too much cannabis. But it could very well be.
And my favorite part of the song has got to be the outro, where they kind of have these. That's kind of the synth vocal thing you were talking about, if I remember correctly, where you can't really tell if it's the vocals or the synth or a mixture, or like the vocals fed through a weird synth filter or something like that.
It seems to go back and forth between the two at times, where it sounds like it's just kind of like thing, but you can tell it's his voice and there's something going on there. And then the second half of that part is this really swimmy, really still affected vocal part, but man, it was so cool. That was when the ice cream cake was hitting real good.
You were hitting your ice cream peak.
Yeah, I was.
You were cream peaking.
Yeah, I was getting my sugar rush. Yeah.
Well, what's your first nug?
My first choice nug is the Lava Lamp Pisco, man.
That was a very close one for me.
Love the heavier vibes on that. Love the riff. That one's like I'm saying, thinking back and looking back at my notes, I'm like, no, this song has a pretty memorable riff on it.
I think it has a little harmonica at the beginning.
Yeah.
I wish they had a little more of that. That's like the last we hear that on the album.
Yeah, they didn't bring it back ever again, and they didn't even bring it back in this song, I don't think.
No,
they just like did it once.
And then it's like, all right, bye. It's like, oh, okay, cool, see ya.
But again, like very King Gizzardy to have harmonica playing during a kind of heavy stoner rock thing going on, and really loud drums, super fuzzy bass. They do a lot of super fuzzy bass.
Fuzzy bass. There's a real buzzy guitar that comes in at the beginning that like invades your right ear.
It's and again, like Jack's voice, man, is great on this song. He just kind of he lets what's cool is that they do really well on balancing the vocals in the song, where they will let a riff ride for 30 seconds, 45 seconds without any vocals. And not whatever, I always think about the band that we used to be in, where we did the same thing. We'd have a solid minute sometimes of just instrumental in between verses or in between a chorus and a verse or something. And I love that psychedelic aspect of this record.
I mean, that's the essential part of being a singer who's also playing an instrument. I feel like bands like that lend themselves more to like having these big instrumental parts, letting these riffs ride out without like doing like vocal like over them the whole time.
That's true. There's got to be a connection there, for sure.
And I kind of remember like it has a like "Hey Man, Nice Shot" by Filter is kind of what I was like, a 90s, thousands kind of post grunge or something feel.
I was singing "Hey Man, Nice Shot" while we were listening to the song, and it worked.
It worked out.
There's something, I guess you could say, a little industrial about it. With the tone of the guitars are just so, like you said, early 2000s, late 90s, kind of industrial, but more like alternative rock that was big back then, and Filter was the only one that could come to mind.
Right. There are countless others, but that's the only one I can remember at the moment.
There's probably so many we're forgetting, but my other choice nug was the other kind of heavier song on the record, and it was Acid Dent.
It's gotta be Acid Dent.
We were both kind of geeking during the song.
I was super geeking, dude. The transition from Microwave Dave to this song is perfect, beautiful. It just makes you like, you kind of hear those little drums and you're like, wait a sec, and then music comes in, super balls to the wall. They leave nothing behind on this one.
It's another great deep bassy energetic song. The energy doesn't stop the entire time.
And like the verse comes in, bass is going, drums are going, the vocals got this cool like moving flow to them.
Yes, the bass is another song that the bass just makes it for me.
Yeah, right.
Because he's half following along with the guitar riff, and then he'll do his own shit.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. And that harmonized guitar solo, and then when they start doing the double, so good. And then that the part at the end when they do that, they break the beat in half.
Oh
and
yeah.
Do a half thing on the same like riff that they were playing the whole time, and that is what made me want to play it live.
Yeah,
like, I would love to play this song live.
That's the part where I realized, oh my god, this would be like a fantastic live song. Maybe even like the first or second song they come out to.
That would be such a sick opening track to a concert.
Oh man,
because it just starts.
If you start with like Terminus, the creator, with that like collage of glitches and beeps, and then like of it, which by the way kind of remind me of the album cover. It's like the musification of what this album cover is.
I can see that. I mean, this cover is fucking trippy as hell.
But yeah, then going into Acid Dent, man, I'm listening to it now, and I'm super hyped about it. It might be one of my favorite Psychedelic Porn Crumpet songs.
Yeah, it might be my favorite on the record.
It's for sure. Definitely my favorite on the record, even though a lot of great songs on the record.
Yeah, no, legit. I really, really like this album, dude. Like, what would you rate this?
Man, at first glance, there wasn't a song that I didn't like. There were a couple that kind of flew by a little bit more.
Right.
Were less
Microwave Dave.
Yeah, less memorable, but like it's our first time listening to the album,
Yeah, but I'm gonna be fucking harsh.
The lyrics I either kind of understood or went completely over my head, but they were very colorful at least.
Still good. Yeah.
It was imaginative.
Still good.
Tones of like isolation, uncertainty, drugs, like everything the pandemic brought, obviously.
Right.
But I'm gonna give this one an 8.0 to start off with.
Yeah, man. That's really good. I'm gonna be right around there, to be honest. Like, I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, so I think that probably has a lot to do with it. And yeah, dude, just killer fucking riffs, great songwriting, great energy throughout the whole thing. It felt bite-sized in a weird way, and it's 40 minutes, but that 40 minutes flies. Like, it just these songs just kind of like hit you, and they don't stop hitting you for 4 minutes at a time, 3 minutes at a time, and it just never gets old.
Yeah.
And you know that I'm a 90s kid, so there's something kind of 90s about some of these songs. And we talked about like Filter, but then at times it kind of reminded me of U2, where U2 kind of has that. Yeah, where U2 kind of has that big sound a little bit at times, like especially during their choruses, it almost sounds like they're playing in a music hall,
like an arena,
or something.
Yeah,
like kind of arena. But then at times like Radiohead, Like
Right.
the closing track, Slinky Holy Water, kind of a Radiohead vibe when the acoustic guitars kick in and it gets kind of trippy. They had cool strings.
Yeah.
I love how loud the bass is. I love the production on the record.
Yep.
The melodies are fun. I love the vocals, and I was fucking stoned throughout this whole thing, and it felt like it was a 5-minute long record to me. The only thing is, like, you know, overall there's really good energy on this album that I like a lot, but it almost gets to a level of cheesy energy at times. But if it wasn't for everything that they were doing with that energy, all the riffs, all the everything that they did around that,
Yeah.
where it's just like the drummer is just, you know, did a fucking rail. I loved it, man. So I'm gonna give it like an 8.5. And to be honest, it's probably gonna get higher the more I listen to this record.
Wow, 8.5, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Dang. All right. Well, thank you, buddies, all for watching. Thank you for listening. You can check us out on YouTube. We're on Spotify, anywhere you find podcasts.
Yeah, if you're listening to this podcast, watch the video one on YouTube. You can see our faces.
Yeah.
You can see what we look like. If you're watching this on YouTube and you don't want to look at this, because I don't either, go pop on a Spotify or one of your podcast apps and go listen to it there. You don't have to look at my ugly mug.
You want to focus on the music? You want to focus on the audio quality of our voices? Go ahead and pop on iTunes. You know.
Yeah,
what?
pop on it. Lossless, bro. Fucking find us on Instagram at EVPcast. Anywhere that there's streaming video and streaming podcasts, you can find us there. I'm at Jean-Luc Guitard on Instagram. Brett is at Brett Hanrahan. Tell us what you thought of this record. Do you guys like Psychedelic Porn Crumpets? Like, are we fucking way off? Did you hate this album? Leave us a comment, man. Let us know. And let us know what albums you think we should be listening to on our podcast. We have like over 60 episodes already. We've talked about a lot of fucking music.
Yeah, and I'll be the one to say, like, Psychedelic Porn Crumpets has a good chance of getting on the regular podcast for
Now
sure.
they do.
And if y'all got any suggestions for which album, go ahead and pop them on and tell
That would be
us.
awesome. That would be awesome. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And check us out, man. Listen to other shit.
Thank
Brett.
you, everybody.
Oh, this was good. This was pretty good.
Lucas. Oh, this was good.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.